He's the Oprah Winfrey of head trauma.
What? Hold up.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving back into r/TalesofNeckbeards, I guess we'll call it. It's actually from my personal subreddit, r/ReddXReads. This is where I would put my Star Wars shenanigans episode, if I had one. It's also where I'd put Unfortunately, if I was prepared for it. But yeah, that'll come tomorrow. A little more Unfortunately. Today we're diving into something a little bit different from Witchfinger. I'm caught up on the Blood for Oil series. That's Rasputin versus Muja. But he has another Neckbeard series going, which is about a Neckbeard named Snowman. So we're going to learn all about him today, and hopefully it's not going to go horribly wrong. Honestly, from what I've skimmed in order to tell Darkly what to do for the thumbnail, he seems like a cool dude, but I reserve my judgment since it is posted in my subreddit. Anyways, let's go ahead. We'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this Tales of Neckbeards cringe. Snowman on a train. The fatal error of mistaking a mega chad for a beardo. Now, we have seen the inverse of this before, mistaking a beard for a chad, but we've never seen a chad mistaken for a beard, right? So this should be relatively interesting. Gather around, dear friends. Yay, Witchfinger's back. For today, I have a very interesting topic in the field of ReddX. Air horn. Neckbeard research, one that you will not soon forget. Today we're going to approach the topic of neckbeardiness from an unorthodox angle, one that I'm sure you will find most intriguing. Well, I mean, I can't argue with that. The dude knows his audience. What do you want? I do find it intriguing from the title alone. What happens when you mistake a high-protein turbo chad for a neckbeard? It is a deadly mistake to make. Now, friends of ReddX, can we stop with the air horn? We'll recall our resident human hobo porcupine, the incomparable Ramtide, self-described portly ginger man-child, certified road pirate, rider of the rails, philosopher of shower fecal filtration evacuation. Yes, he is all of those things, but maybe the last one even more than all the others. And generally mild-mannered vagrant that can flip a switch and go completely shithouse on you if you endanger his dear friends. And because I enjoy his stories on ReddX's YouTube so much, let's remind everyone that he's got a Patreon too, and it's about pirates. It's called Black Flag Printing Press, and he uses that money to eat and subsist and pay his car insurance, which is kind of like his rent if you think about it. But yes, Ramtide definitely needs some fun bucks, so if you can spare it, I do hope you'll support him on Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description for you. How about that? But enough shameless plugs, back to the stories. Well, dear friends, what if I told you about someone who was generally harmless looking, even, dare I say, a bitch-made looking nerd, but was actually a rampaging violent criminal that could tear you limb from limb if you made the mistake of assuming that you could pull one on him like a common, run-of-the-mill, diabetes-stricken neckbeard? I mean, I pretty much have a non-interventionist policy. I don't generally screw with people even if they are terrible people. So yeah, if you did catch hands from Snowman the Stealth Chad, I mean, you probably deserved it, honestly. As long as he's not like an outright jerk to people, as long as he is only a jerk in response, then I think we could get along pretty well. Because yeah, that is basically what this story is about. Enter the Snowman. Why is he named the Snowman? Because he does a lot of cocaine. No, that's not true.
Cocaina. No. Flour.
Snowman is a nickname that he got from the Brazilians in Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments because they likened his fighting style to a snowball rolling down a hill. The longer the match goes, the more dangerous he gets because that snowball just rolls until it becomes an avalanche. I don't know much about jiu-jitsu. I don't know much about much, but especially not jiu-jitsu. So I'm just going to presume that all of that's true. He's going to wear you out and break you down. Perhaps he just has an astonishing amount of stamina for somebody who looks like a neckbeard. That's right. Our dear friend Snowman is a practicing Brazilian jiu-jitsu enthusiast. Actually, that's not even half of it. He's a world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter that goes to Brazil to fight in Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments. God damn, that's cool. I mean, I don't even care that much about Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but being a world-class anything, traveling around and doing this thing to make your living, that is amazing to me. I love it. That by itself would be enough to give most grown men pause, but that's not even the most batshit crazy violent thing that he's capable of. For starters, Snowman was the child actor. Oh my God, he's Macaulay Culkin. That's who I think of when you say child actor. Everything you associate with former child actors, the drugs, the abuse, the parents taking all the money, yeah, that was him. Notice I didn't say a child actor. I said the child actor because Snowman was actually the landmark case that most modern laws created to protect child actors are based on. Wow. This dude changed the world. So would we know who he is? God, what child actor now does jiu-jitsu tournaments? Maybe the comments will have a guess. And yes, as the child actor, he did spend a significant portion of his life as a violent, homeless, broke, on his ass drug addict. Yeah, I suppose that's the danger of getting famous a little too early. Unless, you're like Angus T. Jones and you watch Charlie Sheen doing coke on the set of 3.5 Men and you're like, I'm never going to be like that. And now he just goes to church all the time. He doesn't do much of anything except love Jesus. So, yeah, I guess Charlie Sheen did serve a purpose. He taught this kid what the kid doesn't want to be. But that's about the only child actor I can think of that didn't turn out completely terrible. He's weird, but he's not completely terrible. But wait, there's more. Snowman is also a violent felon. He went to prison for beating up some guy at a high school party. In prison, he joined a prison gang, where he rose to prominent rank because he was such a dependable soldier for the gang. Okay, so what's the score now? All right, we've got violent felon, child actor, prison gang, world-class BJJ fighter. I gotta pause again and wonder what he was doing at a high school party. Was he like an old man just creeping on young chicks or something, or was he actually in high school at the time? I'm gonna go ahead, presume the best about him, but because of the way that it's ordered, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all this stuff, also felon most recently. I assume that's the most recent thing, but I might be completely off base on that. But let us talk about the most recent tragedy. Snowman was recently in a truck accident that put him in a coma for 9 months. Wow. I know this because he called me after being incommunicado for 9 months. Maybe he had a secret baby. I was one of the people he reached out to when he got out of the coma. Jesus Christ, dude. At least he came out of it. 9 months? Wow. This is absolutely wild stuff we got today. Who is this person? Can I look them up? I suddenly very much want to read their biography. Which brings me to my next point. Who the hell do you know that actually wakes up from a coma? That's what I said. That's Hollywood soap opera bullshit. Oh, also, he had a brain tumor. It's just one thing after another with this guy. They had to saw it out of the back of his skull. There was 52 stitches and a chunk of bone. Here's a fun fact. The doctors used to think that he had CTE. That is the condition of being punch drunk. That kind of mental condition that NFL linebackers and boxers develop later in life after getting banged in the head a few too many times. Turns out, that was a misdiagnosis. Brain tumors are just really difficult to detect via x-ray, so the docs just kind of assumed for years that he was punch drunk due to all that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So, in addition to being a violent felon that wakes up from comas and survives deadly truck crashes, this guy spent the entirety of his adult life competitively fighting Brazilians with a golf ball full of death rattling around inside of his skull. Are we making this up? Come on, man. Is this a real person for real? I mean, I haven't heard anything too outlandish yet, except for all the backstory. I have to believe it's real. This is not the first story that Witchfinger has told us, and I know for a fact that the Blood for Oil retellings are real, so yeah, I gotta assume that this is accurate as well. And there's so many entries to this story. I am very morbidly fascinated with how Snowman's life works out. Witchfinger, you're officially Snowman's biographer. Don't miss a beat. I have to know everything. Snowman's most impressive feat of pugilism was the time, while employed as a bouncer, that he brought his fists to a gunfight and won. All right. No. All right. Come on. He was working in a club as security and went to go bounce a couple of rowdies. The second he put his hands on the dude to yank him off the bar stool, the guy pulled out a gun and put 3 .45 caliber slugs through his guts at .0. Do you know what .0 is? .0 means that the barrel of the gun is inside of your skin. Point blank is 30 feet and under. .0 is when the slide punches you when I pull the trigger. Well, hey there, I learned a thing. Snowman beat that dude within an inch of his life with a septic, leaking intestine. Yeah, a bullet had torn up his shit pipes and spilled him into his guts, and a collapsed lung. That guy is in prison for attempted murder, and Snowman still walks the streets with a few new scars to tell the story. Adrenaline is a crazy thing. He brought his fists to a gunfight and won against a freaking 45. I mean, if Snowman is a real man, he's definitely tougher than I could ever hope to be. He might be tougher than Ramtide, although I can't really speak on that. Ramtide has had his whole arm become like a chunk of dangling meat. And he still lived to tell about it, so I just don't know, man. This is why I always gotta stay humble, because there's always a bigger fish. There is always a tougher fish. I don't really want to fight nobody. If it comes down to it, I will. Might get my ass kicked, but at least I could say I stood my ground. All right, so all of this by itself is pretty fucking crazy and unbelievable, but in my younger days, I spent a lot of time with Snowman, and I witnessed a lot of these incomparable death wishes in action, or at least the aftermath. Now, if you asked, OP, why on earth were you spending so much time around such a violent maniac? Well, then I would tell you that it really just came down to the nickname that Snowman gave me. He used to call me Jinny Cricket.
Peter, I'm your conscience, Jinny Cricket.
Ah, bug!
As in the cricket who serves as Pinocchio's conscience and mentor in Disney's Pinocchio. I don't know if I'm really too into that name, but Snowman's not a great name either, so I don't know. I just want a tough nickname like ReddX. Oh yeah, that's edgy. I was Jiminy Cricket because I was one of the only people he knew who could talk him out of doing stupid, violent, criminal things. I also just kind of helped him out a lot. Like most felons, Snowman didn't have a lot of paperwork. He couldn't own guns or have a driver's license, because one of his crimes as a teenager was boosting and joyriding a cop car, which 86 his ability to get a license permanently. Yeah, I guess we all make decisions. I mean, really, if he was that famous, he should have got off with just a slap on the wrist, right? Although, no, it takes money. Fame doesn't really buy you a slap on the wrist. Money does. So yeah, needless to say, Snowman had a hard time generally functioning in society. So, in my infinite wisdom, I figured it was better to be good friends with a violent maniac than to be one of the broken bodies in his path of destruction. That makes sense to me. So I gave him rides to work and helped him do grocery shopping, spell-checked his resumes, and did general functioning member of society shit in order to help him, function in society. Well, yeah, that's a really great plan. Now you've got a violent psychopath on your side. You do a bit of the light lifting for him, and he'll do a bit of the heavy lifting for you. I could see how this works out. But of course, being a violent criminal and professional Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter that seemed to be completely allergic to death and pain wasn't really the thing that made Snowman such a scary individual. No, what made Snowman truly terrifying is that Snowman looks like you could take him in a fight. Uh-oh. If you saw Snowman walking down the street, you might look at him and say, yeah, I could take that guy. Let's jump him and run his pockets. And I mean, after that point, you're kind of just reaping what you sow, aren't you? I can't feel bad for people that harass other people for no reason. Snowman is just the embodiment of karma, I do suppose. Snowman looks like an adult version of Jonah Hill that just got out of a rehab clinic. He looks like someone you'd find sitting at the BO and axe-drenched tables of a comic shop, flipping cards at Friday Night Magic. Snowman looks like most of his exercise comes from chasing ice cream trucks down the street. Well, at least it did. You can imagine that being in a coma for 9 months and being on a feeding tube is probably a pretty great way to lose weight. Because you've lost 95% of all your muscle mass. And yeah, it was quite a weight loss plan. Snowman was pretty happy about that development because it was a titanically unfair advantage in his favor to drop a weight class or two in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu after spending his entire life training against the big healthy boys. Oh, Snowman, he's got such a one-track mind. Yeah, I went in the coma for 9 months, but at least I dropped a few weight classes. Always look on the bright side, I guess. And what happens when one would mistake Snowman for a chubby bitch-made beardo on the streets? Well, you don't really have to guess, because I know what happens, because it did happen. More than once, I'm sure. The answer is that he beats you and your friends within an inch of your life with one hand tied behind his back. Literally, true story. Come on, dude. If this was an OP talking about themselves, I would have blasted a hole through them. I would have been like, no way, this is real. But it's an OP talking about a friend of his, so it does lend a bit of credibility. My suspension of disbelief is still hanging in there, but only just. He seems like he hopped out of a comic book or something like that. What is this? All right, so let's set the stage. We're in the middle of the greater Los Angeles area on a commuter train. For those of you who have never endured the insanity of Hell A, Allow me to explain why trains are a great place for attempted robbery. I mean, I lived in LA for a long time, but it was the good part, in Burbank, 15 minutes away from Hollywood, where all the movie studios are at and stuff. The only time I experienced the true, like, dirty insanity was when I would drive around for comedy gigs. I get really scared in my little car and lock the doors. I'm like, please don't carjack me. A long time ago, in the boomer times, the great American automotive industry got their lobbyists together and leaned on the city planners of LA. They pumped a bunch of money into the civic planning for infrastructure and roads with the sole goal of making public transportation in Los Angeles a complete shit show. And boy, did they ever succeed. Why did they do this? Well, obviously because they wanted people to buy cars instead of using reliable public transportation. You ever wonder why traffic in LA is the lowest circle of hell? Yeah, that is why. God, I'm so glad I don't have to commute anywhere anymore. I mean, traffic in Manila is almost as bad, but really nothing compares to rush hour traffic in LA. Sitting on the freeway for 2 hours to make a 30-minute drive home. Oh, lowest circle of hell indeed. The end result is that most people in LA drive. Even if you don't want to, even if you don't have a reason to. It's nearly impossible to be a functioning adult in the LA area without a car. I mean, sure, you can do it, but I promise that you will not like it. Because in LA, only the most destitute and desperate travelers ride the buses and the trains. Anyone who can afford even a tired old shitbox car with broken windows and a busted air conditioner drives. You got busted windows? No problem. Tape a garbage bag over it. Oh, it's getting hot in there and the air conditioner's broken too? No problem. Poke a hole in the garbage bag. Now you're driving down the street with this cool whistling sound. Woo! And what kind of people do you suppose you run into on these trains and buses if you are in such a sorry state? Well, maniacs like Snowman, who can't drive because he's a felon with a lifelong prohibition on his license for joyriding cop cars. Once upon a time in LA, while riding the train through the hood to his day job, where he pushed shopping carts across a Target parking lot, Snowman was minding his own business when 3 teenage lads from the hood got onto the train and saw that he was very chubby, very harmless looking, and very alone. God, I love it, dude. They don't even know the karmic justice that is about to be delivered. They thought he was bitch made, so they decided to tax him for his backpack. Now, I should start by saying that there was nothing of value in Snowman's backpack. There was a red Target work shirt, a name badge, and maybe a water bottle and some house keys. But that backpack had a lot of sentimental value to Snowman. It had been with him since high school, one of his only friends. More importantly, you did not hood tax the Snowman and expect him to lie down. If you hood taxed the Snowman, he had to wild out. On principle. And so he did. For those of you who have never had the benefit of a street-level education, the number one way to get jumped in the hood is to look like you don't belong. These 3 hoodlums that accosted Snowman were of African-American descent, and they got on the train in a predominantly African-American community. Snowman, well, he doesn't just fight like an avalanche, he looks like one. White as white, beardo-looking chubby dude on a hood train in the hood. I mean, yeah, I'd probably jump him too if I didn't even know better. It's not a race thing, it's a hood thing. I mean, I do believe that they probably would rob Urkel if they saw him sitting on the train. But isn't there a certain amount of, confidence that Snowman exudes, they don't notice that part. They just see a chubby dude and they're like, all right, we gotta get him. Now, what was the phrase that our dear Ramtide was fond of saying when he was about to smack the Dorito dust out of some beardo? You get one freebie. After that, it's on. Something to that effect. Well, that is exactly what happened. The ringleader of the Hood Squad walked right up the train car and stood in front of Snowman. Snowman, minding his own business, sat in his seat and ignored that poor teenage gangster. Because our boy Snow had been around the block and had been a lot more gangster a lot longer. Ignoring that kid was the greatest act of charity that he could bestow. God. That kid said, "Give me your backpack." Snowman, looking at him as if for the first time, looked him up, looked him down, looked at his friend on the left, looked at his friend on the right, and said, oh, this is the first time he spoke. I guess he needs to get the Arnold voice, if anything. "Yeah, we're not doing that." He went back to minding his own business, and that kid slapped him in the face, open-handed. All right, here we go. Now, his first mistake was starting shit at all with Snowman. His second mistake was giving him the open palm, because the only thing worse than coming at the king and missing is coming at the king and wasting your first and only shot. Now, let's just have a little sidebar here for a moment. Women and children are advised to leave this video now because from here on in, it's basically just the Incredible Hulk cleaning a train car using a human being as a mop. Oh, God. It's like that bus fight video that came out a few years ago, but way more epic. Why did nobody get this on camera? Snowman is the epic beard man, all right? I will hear no disagreements about that. Anyways, I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you something that was wrong with Snowman at the time of this incident. He only had one good arm. Snowman's left arm was bundled up in his backpack strap as a makeshift sling because an aggravated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu injury was acting up and the tendon in his arm snapped, which basically left his left arm like a wet noodle. Also, Snowman was left-handed. Just when I think that there can't possibly be more, it just keeps piling on. This dude is not a human. If he actually does die one day, he's gonna burst into flame and just rise from the ashes like a phoenix. He's still got a tumor in his brain, but he's totally reborn and stuff. The Snowman was literally about to beat 3 teenage wannabe gangsters within an inch of their lives with one hand tied behind his back. And it wasn't even his good hand. Snowman's right hand shot out like a cannon and gripped the lead gangster around the neck, and it started choking. Have you ever seen the pilot episode of Venture Brothers where Brock Sampson just puts his giant meat hook around Speedy's neck and just doesn't let go, even after he's rendered unconscious by tranquilizer darts? That was about to happen in real life. Snowman was about to kill Speedy. Fun fact, Snowman's right hand has about 350 pounds of grip strength. He measured it with a device in a gym. The average grip strength of an adult man is in the ballpark of 105 pounds. This is not even Snowman's good hand. He's been genetically fused with a gorilla or something like that, bro. This is too ridiculous. When Snowman's death claw shot out and Chewbacca'd that kid around the neck, his 2 little hood friends immediately jumped in and started rat packing him, throwing hands all over him wherever they could, smacking, punching, just getting in wherever they could to try and make him release the death grip on their buddy's neck. Snowman laughed and said, "If that's as hard as you hit, we're going to be here all day." He is such a Chad, dude. Where did this guy come from? Snowman was now standing. He turned 90 degrees and decided that the plastic train seat was a nail and that his new friend's head was a hammer. He started lawnmowering the shit out of that kid's skull on the plastic seat, bouncing it off of it like a basketball. I mean, you can't even feel bad for him. This is what you started. It didn't end the way you expected, but you chose this path. At some point during this brutality, the kid mercifully went limp. Unfortunately, Snowman was in prison gang Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu maniac mode because, yeah, the switch had been flipped. Stop? Because his victim passed out? Nah, that wouldn't be a lesson. This was Snowman's world, and the rest of us just lived in it, on his charity. God damn. If Snowman has to get punched in the head and get concussions, then everyone has to get concussions. He's the Oprah Winfrey of head trauma.
What? Hold up.
You get a concussion. You get a concussion. Everyone gets a concussion. It might be the best line I've ever read in any story ever. It's right up there with Zuka's Burger Beard line about Paul Bunyan being the great American kaiju. The Oprah Winfrey of head trauma. Jesus. Snowman kept bouncing that kid's head off of the seat long after he had made his point. Oh, God. So glad I pulled this one out today. Good Lord. Eventually, the train reached the next stop, and in his bountiful mercy, Snowman let that kid go. And his buddies dragged him off the train in a snail trail of blood and hard-earned wisdom. I say hard-earned wisdom instead of cowardice because, well, if you saw all that happen, you wouldn't fault anyone for bitching out of there either. Whew. Meanwhile, someone else on the train was calling the cops. They met Snowman on the platform when he got off and asked him for a statement. Now, anyone who's ever lived the thug life and paid for it knows there's 4 magic words that you can say to a police officer to make him go away without even trying to argue with you. And Snowman said those 4 magic words. I've been to prison. If you tell a cop that you've been to prison, that's basically telling the cop that he's wasting his breath, and you're not talking, for better or for worse. You know, you were lucky this time. You should cooperate with us and help us catch him. They might come back for the run back with a gun. The cop tried to appeal to reason. If they don't have a gun next time, I'm gonna be motherfucking offended. Snowman said. Oh, God. He's like my new favorite character ever. What the hell is this? Can this possibly be real life? Man. The cops just kind of had to shrug and let him walk. He had said the 4 magic words. Snowman still showed up to work that day. He walked right into the front door of the Target with a busted lip and a black eye from where the hoodlums had roughed him up while rat packing him, and his manager just turned him around and told him to go home. He walked down to my house where he told me the story, and we had a beer on my porch, and I gave him a ride home later so that he wouldn't have to almost kill anyone on the train again. I like to think that the lesson here is pure poetry, specifically bombs over Baghdad. Don't pull the thing out unless you plan to bang. Bombs over Baghdad. Don't even bang unless you plan to hit something. Bombs over Baghdad. All right. God, Outkast is so freaking good. Stankonia, that album was my whole youth. Thank you very much. So, where is Snowman at right now? Well, he's in Colorado. I'm hoping he hasn't killed anyone lately, or at least manages to abstain from killing anyone for at least a month, because I would like to fly out and see him sometime after Christmas. After all, the Snowman needs his Jinny Cricket. I hope that you got to go see him, OP, quite sincerely. I would like to say that this whole tale is larger than life and I can't possibly start to believe it, but I couldn't make anything like that up. Could you make all of that up? This is like unreasonably creative to just pop out of somebody's head. I got so much respect for Snowman. He's like a demigod. He's a living legend. He is larger than life. And I gotta hear more about him. So yeah, we will be revisiting him at some point in the future, I am sure. Dude has had a hard life, but he did his time, you know? He's trying to build a better life, build himself back up, working at a Target. Even after a fight on the train, he shows up. He's like, yeah, I gotta go make this money. I don't know. Oh my God. Hercules incarnate. Beating up 3 gangsters? Yeah, that was part of one of the labors of Hercules, I'm pretty sure. What an epic tale. And it's such a feel-good story because really it's just about the fist of karma choking a kid out. I mean, he is a kid. I do feel kind of bad about that part, but you picked a fight that you couldn't win, even if you didn't know that you couldn't win it. Did they learn anything? I don't know, probably not, but it definitely makes for a hell of a story, and I'm so glad that I picked this one up. I love Blood for Oil. I love listening to Rasputin and Mujahideen just pecking each other to death, but Snowman, boy, he is on another level. It's just so good. I do hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, maybe share it around. It is the start of a new saga, I do believe, so get somebody in on the ground floor, especially with a saga that I'm sure is going to be absolutely epic. How can it not be with Snowman involved, right? We also got a bunch of links down in the description. Plugs, playlists, podcasts, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Oh, and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons, whom I would like to thank Jerry much. So thank you. Darth Thomas, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Logan Wolf, Conrad Ingy. Hey, Mr. ReddX, thanks for sending me them fun bucks. Landlord Jerry says my legs are safe for now. Think about Landlord Jerry. He comes back every month. There ain't no keeping that guy down. Captain Clown Jerry, Hong Kong, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Sarah Wano Ash, Cinnamon Susie, For Old Lang Syne, Irari is back to this since it's just more fun. Yeah, I take that. Jari the Pirate, Silent Revolver, Jerry, the OG, Jerry, it's really him. Jerry Kitsune, Satori, 211 Jerry, the Fellowship of Jerry. Yeah, we got it right here. A Jerry of Jubilantly Juggling Jerrys, a Justy Jargonian Jerry, Alunia Demonista, Althea Blue, Anunnaki, Assassin Pug Jerry, Bang Bang, Aurora Wildheart, AXN Grizzly, Baby Jerry, oh, so cute, Bailey Joy, Bearded Jerry, watch out for that guy, Beards, oh, Jaws theme and beard noises, and then just eating Doritos at the end. Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Blip Blip Jerry, Catholic Jerry, formerly Atheist Jerry, but the Inquisition showed me the light. Commander J Tank, Confederate Jew, Dennis Dayton, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Dr. Larks, Emergent Jewel, fell down this pipe running from a walking mushroom thing, it's Mr. J, Frozen Nova Studios, Fire Drake, Gypsy, Adrian BR, I can't help falling in love with Jerry. I'm Slim Jerry, yes, I'm the real Jerry, all you other Slim Jerrys are just imitating. Irish Pirates, top of the barn into ya. Itchy Nuts, just scratch him, bro. A pimp named J Crisp, yes, you have to say the whole thing. J.M. Coon, Jennifer Schaefer, Jerry Smith Barber to Cervicus, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Nice, Jerry Evil, Jerry the Outlaw Mother Trucker, honk honk. Jerry was a great star driver. I got my super back and we went round 2, but my tires hit a bunch of marbles and it's pulling out. Yeah, that'll happen. Hope you're all right. John Hero, John, Jerry, Jingleheimer Schmidt, Simboofla, because if you boof it, it's free. KJW, Kajow, Crewhey, Miss Monday, Lord Jerry-O, like and subscribe. That's a good one. Lady Dix, Marble Jerry was on their way to stop Comrade Jerry from dealing on their tooth when their van was attacked by an STI. Oh, now we get the other side of the story. Melgar the Destroyer, Metal Factor. 9 out of 10 dentists agree that he is more metal than Arthur Henry, Jerry, Tom, and ReddX. Well, that's just not true. I agree with the 10th dentist. Mr. Carrot 797, Natari, Needless King 89, Nightmare Jerry. Oh no, Origami Steve hit Jerry with a bag of marbles after catching him cheating with Tom. That's why he's not Origami Jerry Steve anymore, see? They got a divorce, see? So sad when that happens. Patron Saint of Chicken Nuggies, Saint Jerry, Phantom of the Pines, Jerrykins and Jerry Beth, Ramtide Lacrimates, Rose, Jerry Miller, TSM Kirby, Sarita the Lolita, Sassy Octopus, Silo Imp, slipped on a marble and into the Neckbeard world. Welcome to my world. Stables, aka Jerry Yeet, Stephanie Goodner, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tomato, Tapioca Boogaloo, Teddy the Police, Tenton Monster, the Italian Greyhound, Dino, whatever, the Token Trans Queen Jerry, funny name pending. True Fusky, Tom, but it's the Jerry on the inside that counts. Church, Unbusy Bee, V3 Prime, welcome friend, Viking Jerry, WikiTac, Will Mags, Comrade Mooney, Kira, not another Jerry, yes you are, welcome to the fold. You're a wizard Jerry, Redwind, not a Viper, Side Jerry the Cyborg, Saint's Blessing, a normal Jerry, JP, the best daily berry snack promise swears it's just a fact, it's totally sized and it's lightly toasted. Hunter of Jerry's, Devour of all things tasty, it's Tom, Admiral T-Tank, Amber Alder, Atomic Jerryzilla, Breaker of the Tom Army, AZ, Babsy Coon, Barbushka's Radiated Jam, Bartender Kirlia, Blue Dubs, Broken Spine Horseradish, but look, I made you some content, Dane, you're my favorite, open wide, Cake Jerry, yeah, that's original different Jerry right there, California Jerry Girl, Chevron 7 Locked, Corporal Admiral Furry Warrior, Woo Jerry, Quip Titties, Defon Jerry, DM Beard, Roll for Seduction, Dopamine Dane Jerryus, Electrical Fennec, Ghost of Alpha, Heeknot, Holy Berry Jerry, Hydra Jerry Solomons, Janitor Jerry, Feather Crate of Cringe and Marbles out by the dumpster. It happens. Jeffrey, Geralt of Rivia, Jerry and Tom versus Happy New Year's Webby Apocalypse, Jerry the Sussy Baka, Jerry's mom has got it going on, Jerry Aldo Rivera, you check out that mustache, Jerry Bean, Yum, Jerry Roxas, yay, Jerry's STI pit maneuver the van to save the marbles. We're getting a lot of conflicting stories in here. Jerry role-playing game featuring the obligatory furry PC, Freddy Fazbeard, Judge Jerry and Executioner, Kid Marvelous, hey, it's King Tom, Smasher of Jerry Zillas, Kitsykin, Life of Guardian, Little Ann Woods, Lucia Lovecraft, Chia, CD, maybe next time Milk-Fed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Not Invisible Angel, One Leg Jerry makes a marble deposit at Dayton's Bank. Bro, if I opened up a bank, I would embezzle so hard. Origami Cam, put your emotions on hold, and let's talk about these nuts. Ghosty, Raptor Art, she's my Jerry Pie, go drink a Mountain Dew, what a big surprise. Sheep Jerry working at Joey's Fabrics, they don't carry marbles. Snary, let's Snob Jerry, Spoony the Rogue, Spoopy Scary Jerry Ton, Techno Dubs, the Jerry Fellowship of the Marble. Oh, we're going on a grand adventure. The Necro Jerry Com, the Not Gaslighting Jerry, there's no war in Red Sing Say. Some ReddX Industry branded marbles. The original Jerry is not the X card. Hey, welcome to Infinite Jerry and beyond. Tuna Fish Jerry, oh the cod. I keep trying to swim around, but I'm dummy thick, and the slap of my tail fins keeps alerting the bears. Tom Promise, Jerry swears. Oh no, bad Jerry. Tommy Good Boy, no swears, just facts, so he's go ahead, look it up. It'll be another ReddX video. And big shout out to my $1 patrons as well. End of the month is just around the corner, friends. If you would like to make a Patreon donation, help me scrape through the ugly months on YouTube, I definitely would appreciate that. But if you can't afford to do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come all back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos. Thanks. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, bye-bye.